Hey, Mom Chilo. Who are the Icarians? We have regular Sentient Awoken run with... They're the imps of the Arcadian clan. No, I've already tried out the Arcadian mod. Two glimmers, two packed morsels, Pyagro. We have Shield, Rage, something Armor, Talos, Rage, Fell, and Cleanse Seraph. Morsels with damage shield. Morsels with damage shields get past sweepers. With 3 extra hit points, sometimes get past sweepers. That's probably not good enough. I think we just take the damage shield ones. It's interesting. Do you have Cleanse Seraph? I wonder if that's a reason to not go spikes. Probably not, right? You just know that at some stage you're losing your spikes and your spike is no longer doing anything. That's probably the best way of looking at it, yeah. Cleanse Seraph here is a tough run. I like that. I've been, you know, marinating on this idea of having a run sheet, a bingo chart, if you will, like the logbook. Where you start with one of these. The Exiles really throw it out, right? Because you need a lot of combinations. Because this doesn't actually measure up the number of combinations there are, because that's just... this crown is Hellhorned, like this Hellhorn dude with Awoken, but it could be any Awoken. They really need 4 crowns. So it'd be like an 80-run chart. And you'd have to see how many wins you can get with the out of the 80 runs. Yeah, I'm missing 1 crown. It'll happen eventually. Or I'll just go into Cov 1 and get it. I think ultimately that's the problem with the thing like the FTL ship list. There's some variance on the ships, but at the end of the day, there's only 28 ships, right? So that's 28 runs. There's 80 combinations in Monster Train. That's a huge cycle. I don't think you ever get through them all. Crown's only obtainable at 25? Dang. Yeah, well. Guess we'll just have to try hard. I've lost it. I've lost that. That combination's come up and I've lost twice. Maybe 3 times if I wasn't tracking it, but I've definitely lost it twice the last 2 times it's come up. Oh man, Like, I want the gold, but I think, like, doing it there is probably better. Let's see what we can draw. Okay, health is decent. Plus, we can block one of them since we spike. Since we have an attack, we can block with one of them. Lifesteal for next time and a thing. Okay, let's... Alright, since we have lifesteal, there's no point blocking, right? We just go down to... Okay, let's do this. There we go. Hey, Big Proof, how you doing? Let's take the 3. This is gonna be close. That's like 2 turns, so I don't think we hit that. That's gonna be really close. Nah, I never didn't have it, dude. Close. Even close. Okay, razor sharp, good. Huh. That's a tough choice. Because I kind of want plants, but then there's upgrades, quick damage. Both of those aren't doing what we want. Maybe I should have gone for a plant. Oh, they lost stats too. Yeah, Cleanse Seraph halves statuses, including lifesteal. But usually, if you can get a decent enemy behind it, You can get some food in. I struggle with anything other than architect against cleanse if you're going for lifesteal, because you just can't quite feed enough turns worth. Because you can't fit the morsels in, and you don't take capacity for it. You want other. Are there stats about the losses? Not sure. I need something to get past here. I mean, that does, but... Power absorbers. If I hadn't taken dog, I wouldn't take this, which it's kind of good we did, because I need a unit. Actively bad now. I forgot about the wing technology. I was thinking, okay, he kills the first morsel, and then this one spikes on this one, and we don't take 9 damage. But it turns out we are going to take the 9 damage, unless I draw a glimmer or a mine. Okay, we might get through, but. Not a good play. I should have just let Sentient die. One damage short. Could have risked it for a Glimmer next turn, but... Oh, or Razor Sharp. Not worth though. Okay, that's dying there. Razor Sharp does things. Space Prism's nice. Hey, Ains, how you doing? Animus's Will is really solid. I wonder if I want 2 of them now. Probably not. I don't really have anything to dupe though. Pains. I mean the shield, the crystal's okay. Yeah, right. Crystal's probably better. Stuart. I think the space crystals might do the counter against not having enough space. Well, that makes sense, they space. Alright. Ragey. No top floor Talus. Hurts. Okay. Easy there. So I don't need her to get spiked, so I may as well block. Bonus health, I guess. Did Cyberpunk get delayed? Wow, it went to gold, right? When did they announce that? Did they give a specific reason, or did they just say ready when it's ready? You lost count? How many times it got delayed? Were you even counting? Yeah, it's a tough call. Hey, like, me personally, I would prefer the delays to keep coming. And if a studio is capable of it, just putting it out when it's ready. And I've heard the argument of people like, oh, I'm over it. I'm not going to get it now because it's been delayed too much. It's like, okay, so you would have preferred to pay a really high price because it's an expensive game for a product that gets brought out early and is just not meeting their expectations instead of paying the same price for one that's presumably better quality. This delay doesn't seem like it's going to increase quality, but making sure that people that ordered on PlayStation don't get it later than PC or something like that. And to be honest, I'm kind of okay with that. Despite the fact that I get to play it later because I'm on PC and it was probably ready for PC, I think that's kind of cool for a dev team to say, look, we want everyone to be able to experience it at the same time. And that's what we're trying to make happen. You know, good on them. No, I mean, the difference with No Man's Sky was that it was rubbish when it came out, right? It was all concept and no actual game. You'll have more time to play Assassin's Creed. There you go. So it was going on PS4, PC, and Xbox, but now a PS5, new Xbox empty. The PS5s and the new Xbox is out. Man, I don't even pay attention to console stuff just because I don't have one. Nothing against the console peeps. You guys are amazing, but I just don't have one, and nor am I getting one. So there's no reason for me to check out console news. After 5, you lost count. 6 comes after 5, Valkyrie. And Smart. Nobody forced them to start the hype. That's true. But no one forces any business to do any form of marketing. Tends to be why a lot of products come out and people are like, oh, I didn't even know this game was coming out. It's because they didn't hype it. You know, you're going to win some of those, you're going to lose some of those. I think in this case, hyping something early and then having people be disappointed that it's late is probably better than not saying anything and just releasing a game. I have a Switch? No, my kids have a Switch. I'm not sure what to expect with Valhalla. I haven't played anything past Assassin's Creed 2. So I really can't help you on that one. It's a series that I want to do the same as Tomb Raider, except without the 2 hours a week. Like, I want to really get into it at some point. There you go, have a heal. I think the thing with, like, whether it be I can understand people that have pre-ordered that are like, oh man, I could have been using this money for a different game and then used later money for the game when it comes out. But this is not a new thing that pre-ordered games sometimes get delayed. The same with early access. I'm kind of over people being like, I put money into this early access game and they stopped making it, or they keep delaying. It's like, you know, this is a thing. If you're not willing to take the, you know, the stand of the early access game might flop, or my pre-order game might not come on time, don't put the money in, you know. Oh, but I got a $2 discount by getting it. Well, then stop your whinging, you know. That's very fair. Some early access is done better than others, but that's the thing. Like, I think too many people don't do any sort of attempt at what you could deem research into what they're buying, and then just sit around and whinge about it. And I'm the ultimate cantankerous whinging bastard. I would have called myself a different four-letter word because I'm Australian, and it's very appropriate, but PG, right? You know, so I'll whinge about anything given the right opportunity. But I won't use complaining as a way of weaseling out of my own irresponsibility. You know, at the end of the day, or except for the fact that my wife has access to it, I'm in control of my money. No one forces me to buy a game, whether it be early access or pre-sale orders or anything like that. So I only have me to blame if I make a bad purchasing decision. Yeah, so some development teams, depending on, and it's all relative, right? If you've got a small team but you've got a small project, you might be able, and you've got a reasonably lax roadmap, you should be able to keep up to date with it. Now, you're not disappointing anyone in terms of delivering what you say, but you could also be, what you say could be under-delivering. So you can sit on your laurels and go, well, we're keeping up with our promises, and people could be like, yeah, but your promises are crap. You know, or you could have a big like a big team and a huge project, and are trying to put out something massive, and then you can struggle. Again, I think it's more for people to sort of base judgment on what their own expectations are, and if you don't think the team's going to do it, or what you're expecting is not good enough, well, that's just that, right? Don't, you know, whinge about it or something. You know what I mean? Star Citizen. I mean, I am disappointed. Honestly, disappointed that... do we want an Awoken Hollow? Huh, I wonder if he could replace Dog. Prob's not. Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed about the delay on Cyberpunk. But only because it's delayed, not because, oh, they've delayed it again. Broken promises. Keanu said I was pretty or something. That's my stance on early access exploits as well. If I look at the early access game and I go, I sort of value it how it is now, and I look at it and go, I'm happy to pay this price for the game in its current condition. That way, if the dev team, if something happens and they do no other work on it, then I'm fine with that. That's a must for me for buying something. I don't take leap of faith buys on early access games. Yeah, I think devs should. I also think devs should consider putting out a cheaper price to start with, and say, be honest, say this is a discounted price that will increment as we get closer to this price at release. Definitely, it's a good incentive to get someone to come in and be like, you know what, I don't think the game's good enough to buy, but it's cheaper, which makes it good enough to buy. So, you know, I wouldn't be happy paying $30 for this, but I'm happy paying $15 for it if they don't make it any better. It's a really good middle ground. Oh, I'm desperate need of health for Animus. I don't think I want any of these. I think I wanted plus 10 actually. Let's take this one instead then. I wasn't paying attention. I should have gotten plus 10. I'm disappointed I didn't put a plus 10 on it because having that... I should have re-rolled as well. I did re-roll. Having that starting value damage of 50's quite bad. Hey, babe. I was like that with Hades. I got my value out of Hades, and then as more stuff came out, I'm like, I got so much out of Hades that I burnt out from it. Yeah. And then people are like, it's released, you're gonna play more? I'm like, oh, I can't play anymore. I think a lot of smaller games should be doing demos again. It'd stop people complaining that when they hear that people refund their Steam games in less than 2 hours. Which I always... That's one of my favourite chuckles. You know, we like to read comments and stuff, so I like to read negative reviews just to see if there's something I can sort of take out of it, as well as laugh at people who leave reviews for, like, give... I mean, they probably think it's a reason to dislike a game, but usually it's not. But there's usually someone in a lot of games that'll be like, oh yeah, I refunded it, and like, I played it for the 90 minutes and refunded it because the game blah 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 blah. And some idiot will be there going, oh, kids these days, refunding games, not sticking with something, what do you think that does to developers? I'm like, that gives developers a chance at a sale? Like, the Steam refund policy is an amazing income boost for indie developers. People have a safety net of trying something knowing they can refund it at no cost to the developers. It doesn't cost them anything if it's a refund. Because if the refund policy wasn't there, that person's not buying the game. They're buying it because the safety net of the refund is there. They refund it, no net loss. They keep it because they took a chance on a game that was, and it turns out the game is good. The developer now makes a sale that they wouldn't have made without a refund policy. Yeah, and it's no physical copy, so it's not like they have to, you know, get a factory to make stuff and they're committed to selling those. Right? But because of that, I think that puts a lot of pressure on a lot of people, you know, because of the you've got it's a 2-hour limit on Steam to make that happen. You know, sometimes people are a little bit hasty because, you know, you go over that 2-hour limit and you've got to have, you know, you can still get your refund, but Steam's, you know, kind of doesn't want to. I don't blame them. You know, by having a demo, it lets people sort of really try it and see. Yeah, it makes no. It's the difference though with a demo. You want to put forward something, not just an early access rubbish release, right? Oh, that's a shame. Imagine if I put the plus 10 on this. Man, chat was so hot, distracted me too much. I didn't need to hear your hot, Ains. I can see it. It's clear. So hot. Yeah, look, plus 10. God damn, Panz. So if I lose by like 22 hit points, it's Hotshot's fault. Probably my fault, but you know. I can't blame someone else. What's the point, yeah? When does Assassin's Creed come out? Yeah, I'll take that. Nov 10, hey? I don't know how I feel about this one. I don't know. Gonna go with no. Should have taken it. Sweeper, no sweeping. Oh, I have a thing. Doesn't matter. I just gave a bunch of damage to her, which is probably better. That's a nice way of putting it. So my razor sharp used to catch up to the damage done, but now she'll be with ever 4 hit points. Oh, I could heal her, but I still don't like it. I think it's dirty. Dirty. So dirty. What happens with an Endless Animus and a Razor Sharp Edge Death? Comes back with 1 hit point every time. And you have to... And standard Endless stuff, you know, it costs you a card draw and a mana. Leaking again because of deal. Oh, with the new razor sharp edge though, in this case, Animus is missing some hit points. So she'll come back with whatever her max hit points are. Like, so to kill her with a razor sharp, we'll put her on 0 of 8. So she'll come back with 8 health. It's only, but if they die because you've taken their max HP down to 0, then they come back with 1. Spike doesn't seem to be doing anything. I can just take it and then just throw it down on anything for like 1 or 2 then. What's wrong, Akka? Multi-spikes, yeah. Yep, the upgrades on Blazing Bolt stay. Yeah, I had a really bad sleep. Don't know why Blazing Bolt's favorite card. It's a good card. That's a solid card. It really is. Mine was the equivalent of, it's hard for me because like, people, whenever I sort of tell my sleep pattern, people are like, oh, how do you sleep like that? And I'm like, every day. You know, because I sleep during the day, like as if this is kind of like night work. because I did night work for... Well, I gravitated to finding jobs that had night work because I preferred sleeping through the day. It felt better. Like I've always struggled sleeping at standard nighttime. So I'd say for me, went to bed, it's almost 12 hours around. Like if I was being a really responsible Panz and was able to sleep, bedtime for me would be somewhere between 8 and 9. And I wake up at 4. So that would be, 7 to 8 hours. But usually I'm not in bed till like 10 or 11. And I'm still up at 4. And most of the time I don't sleep when I'm in bed. Rotating shifts is really hard unless you can keep yourself exhausted on a sleep pattern. It's really bad to change what time you're going to sleep. That adds to the Monday-itis too that people have from staying up late Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday comes around and I'm going to be responsible, go to bed early, get a good night's sleep, go to bed early, don't get any sleep because your body's like, it's not sleep time. We're staying up. We're staying up. Just throw it on there. You're on a rotating shift, you're always dazed? Yep. You thought you'd be able to go golfing? That rain. Dude, I feel for you. Always days, just get resin remover for your head. Nice one, Chromo. See, you just came up with something funny, Chromo, and it wasn't a pun. Maybe you just got to give up the pun game and just go for, regular funny comments. Rotating shifts definitely did. Will mess up people's work. The only time rotating shifts can kind of work is if it allows... It depends on the business. Like, if your business hours are like 7 a.m. until 7 p.m., you could probably rotate shifts alright, yeah? But as soon as you go outside of those hours, maybe a little bit later, you can rotate shifts because you're not interfering with anyone's sleep patterns. Or you shouldn't be. If it's a career job and people there that are working there are saying, okay, well, I know I need to find a good, I want to work well, so I've got to find a good, sleep time, then they can deal with that, right? But as soon as you work, like any business that requires later shifts or earlier shifts than that, you can't rotate someone outside of a sleep cycle. It's really bad. You did nights for 7 years, or you did rotating? Ooh. If she gets raged, we could be in trouble. Company was open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week every year. What was the range of rotation? Because that can be really bad. I've had some bad ones with that. That's the last sweeper, so we don't have to really worry about keeping her health up. But I wasn't watching her health against Ragefell Sweeper. She could have got really punished. Yeah, a lot of businesses and services do that, where they'll start you on an early one, then go later, and then days off, and then bring it back to early. Because you can wake up tired, get to bed, then wake up tired, get to bed, then it's kind of strange. And I guess I know in companies that I've worked in that have done that, it's to be fair, so that not everyone gets an early shift. So that no one complains that they got the bad shift. And it's like, give me the bad shift. I'll just do the bad shift every time, so that I don't have to have rotating schedules. And said companies then wonder why productivity is lower than other companies. Because you've got too many people. One, you're staffed with people that complain about bad shifts instead of being happy they've got a job. And two, you're sort of kowtowing to those people instead of running your business yourself and saying, I'm hiring someone to do a 9 p.m. till 6 a.m. shift. And when that person says, so when do I get off this shift? You don't. This is the job I'm hiring you for. But I want a job where I get to change shift, and maybe sometimes the day guy, I can swap with them? No. Oh. That's the other thing. It means you can't get a second, like a part-time job, right? So you're kind of forced to just work for them. People will complain about everything, Kizron. You should know this. You live in England, don't you? Let's heal her up anyway, just to show we care. That's the biggest problem this guy games, is that some people will do it because they really love a job. Some people will do it because they really need a job. And some varying reasons in between. But one thing almost everyone agrees with doing that sort of work is that it just wrecks you. Like covering someone else's shift because you're a team player and maybe you get offered overtime or something like that, or maybe the boss just says, look, I'd really like it if you could swap shifts with this guy because it'd help me out. And I don't know, maybe you're just happy to do it. Yeah, it can knock you about a bit for a day or two, but we're pretty hardy. We can recover from things like that, or sometimes not even notice it because it's just one day, right? But when it's constantly changing, and people these days have enough trouble getting proper sleep and things, you start throwing other factors into it. It's just I got a mate that does FIFO work. He works for like less than 6 months in the year. He ends up he gets paid like a year and a half more than what he would somewhere else. So like basically 2.5 times a normal salary for working less than half a year. What's that work out? 5 times pay rate? Yeah. But whenever he's home, and he calls so that we can chat. He's just wrecked. Like, he makes no sense all the time. So I guess that he gets nice and refreshed before he goes back to work, but I can't imagine what he'd be like working with in the last week that he's doing it. Might take one of these for... Do we take one of these? Sure. Yeah, my brother-in-law, he's had to go out on oil rigs for consulting sometimes, and he said that the guys that's their full-time, like that's their career. They were discussing different pays and stuff, and they were getting insane rates. But it's because that they work, they pretty much working like 16 hours, sometimes around the clock, for over a month at a time. Just because the amount of people they can't, like they're limited to the number of people they can get on the rig. So you need to work to take that job. You have to agree to work a much higher percentage of hours on a regular basis, and then you get heaps. Then you get chop it off, or and you don't come back for a while. But when he was consulting there, he was just doing normal things. But same deal, like he got choppered on, and he was out there for a month, and when the weekend came, he had nothing to do. Right? There was no internet, there was no television, like nothing live. It was all just whatever you could have as self-contained electricity type stuff. So there was like DVDs and PlayStation and things like that. And books and whatnot, and he said it's not a wonder they work every day of the week, because like you're either sleeping, eating, pooping, or working. There's one more drawer. I don't really want capacity. Really need energy. Drawer seems good. Yeah, having nice like gym and other physical amenities is really, really good. Because it makes you want to do stuff, especially if there's if they've got really nice facilities and other people are using it, it makes you want to join in, which, like, when you're working that much, keeping yourself a bit more physically fit than normal is a good thing, right? Games are fun too? Yeah. Maybe I should have checked if I needed something for dog. I'm pretty sure I did, yeah. I might take this 510 because I'm going... Oh, where am I going? We might go there, in which case then I don't take the 510. I mean, I'm happy to go at the moment. It's either dupe a bottle. I'll take this, that way it lets me choose later. You don't like working from home because you like getting out of the house? Yeah. I guess that's where it's the hardest on people that want to get out, whereas I've always wanted to not get out. So the corona thing hasn't really done anything to my life. I guess I'm lucky in that respect. But I understand, like I definitely understand with people that want to get out and be around other people. It makes it tough. Okay, so we shouldn't get Ember Drain since he's dying to spikes, right? That's the rule? Are you talking about driving the mining, the big dump trucks kids run? I can tell you straight up, they're not fun. Without a shadow, like, they are not fun in any... Yep. It is... Like, even for someone that... Like, even, like, for a big petrol head or someone that, like, just really gets into their cars or machinery and stuff, I think that makes it worse. They are the most boring vehicle on the planet. Like, it's not even close. You know, like, I don't know what comes second last, but it's not close. Well, you know what comes second last? Some other form of big mining dump truck. You know. They don't even do a wheelie when you floor the gas. There was a thing, at one stage, I don't know how different it is now, but for a long time, a lot of mining companies specifically targeted mothers that were looking to re-enter the workforce to do a lot of those drivings, because historically they found that guys got too frustrated with the monotony of the work, because they expected something exciting. Like, that was I can understand you go into it going, oh, I'm driving a huge ass mining dump truck, this is gonna be a great job, and it's not. It's boring. It is. It's really bad, right? You know, at least the farmers that have to sit in the GPS driving tractors, because you have to have someone in there for legality and safety reasons, at least they're allowed to play like Farmville and other games or read books while they're in the tractor cab. In the mining cab, you're not allowed to do anything. Like, there's no devices, you know. So you have, and you're driving it as well, except for the GPS ones, which are unmanned. So you don't get to even sit in those. But, like, they are slow and sluggish, and you can imagine they don't handle very well, because and the speeds are usually limited depending on the mine site, and the top speed isn't that fast anyway. Like, they're designed just to go forever at, like, mind-numbingly boring, almost walk faster than speeds. No, you can't even throw on an ebook if you're in the mining trucks. A lot of them don't even have like any form of capabilities for that. You get like your CB or whatever comms there are, and that's it. You're expected to be at full attention, because remember, you know, the scene from Austin Powers where the dude eventually gets killed by the indoor steamroller? That's what it's like, except worse. A lot worse. You want to call 65 boringly slow. Yeah, so you wouldn't be able to do somewhere between 6 and 5, would you? Like... Wow, look at this. Oh, we can fix that. But yeah, apparently the mine companies were targeting mothers that were re-entering the workforce. One, because they were offering really good pay, so it was a good take for someone that had been out of the workforce for a long enough time that was either lacking in professional development or keeping up with whatever their field was. But also they were really good at just doing the job for the mind-numbingly amount of hours driving back and forth up the same exact road. There you go, the more you know. If you can't listen, you can't listen to. You need to be able to hear people screaming when you run them over. Yeah, well, that's if you. That's it. You don't have to listen to it. Yeah, if you choose to listen to them screaming. Different ones can go different speeds, and it depends on the site and the site restrictions and rules and what they implement on them. And what zone they're in, what task they're doing. Oh, we might actually get that guy. Stop hitting yourself. Nice. We did it. Now we're good. You sure? Yeah, sure. I think we make it most of the way through the Seraph fight. A lot of it's going to come down to how many morsels we can draw in the last sort of three, 4 turns. Go ahead and take that, and then re-roll into... I wonder if we take the sap tap. Every time dog attacks with the lifesteal, it's an extra draw for the next turn, and so you've already pre-drawn it, so you get to see your whole hand. I think it is worth taking because of that. Like, you get to see the extra card, you don't have to play a card and wonder what you could draw into. You do have to have dog attacking at the start to make that happen, but I think we do that often enough. I don't even know what else I would want. I don't want to hold over anything. Maybe a permafrost. So hold over the other razor sharp. Maybe. We can just play it a lot at the start to get us through. Yeah, an Eternal Stone on a bottle's nice. Ish. Could almost do that. There. I don't want to put any morsels into this guy. I want to have as many as possible because they're going to get halved, but I want to play them and ramp up because you just don't get enough played in the last few turns, so you need to try and kind of fight it like this. Oh man, really? Seems good. That's good, Leprechaun. What's your passive voice? It's a passive voice report. Never mind. Got some leakies there. Five. This is gonna be close on the I don't think it's gonna be close anymore. Oh, enjoy the raft, Gizron. I think we got there. Just got hit. Dog almost died. I don't even have enough life to him. Oh, nice. Oh. That was close, yeah. Very close. I was thinking about when I set up in the middle. Sometimes, like, there's possibly a line where if you set up on the bottom anyway and put some of the, instead of trying to bank the extra morsels into lifesteal, put them in the middle since they have the damage shield, like the first one, like they have the damage shield from the artifact, and maybe Seraph cleanses that line a couple times. And you keep a few extra spikes. You keep spikes maybe, even if you only keep it that little bit longer, you're keeping enough spikes to kill the light wings. And then maybe losing one less half of your damage shields at some, your lifesteal stacks at some point might have made it a bit easier. But with limited morsels like that, like we weren't outside of the bottles. I guess that's where, like, if that would be more viable if we had an unconsume on a bottle. Or an Antumbra assault. We can just just generate those couple extra morsels, or any artifact. Still.